They're clearly and concisely. And once you learn how to do that, then you can bring in all the stakeholders and you can get into programs that'll help you and train you on how to build it. But that first step is you have to design a business model that is desirable.
When I initially moved back to Pensacola, I had a meeting with Lloyd. Lloyd invited me for breakfast, and I was telling him, man, I still have an idea for the entertainment industry. This is what I wanted to do. He was like, all right, I got Startup on the Blocks. So I need you to start coming to Startup on the Blocks and get a little more information on how to work through the tech ecosystem and take your idea and we'll get you where you need to go. My company is called The Know, is an app that is streamlining business for the entertainment industry. Yeah, so if you're a musician, what you would do is pretty much jump on the platform, you'll create a profile, but the way we created the profile is pretty much a cleaner way. So now if they want more information about you, you'll connect your social media platforms, your streaming platforms, and that way they can go directly to it. What we also have included is your calendar. So pretty much you can set your days, you can set your price for your days and automate your booking. So initially talking to Lloyd, my idea was all here, it was there, it was over here, it was over there. It was like, all right, Quinn, I get it. You got a lot that you want to do, but we need you to bring it in just a little bit and then work on your pitch, your story, and how you're going to bring it full circle to get people to understand what you're trying to create.
Most of the programs here wasn't inclusive, and so we said we'll focus on helping founders of color. We also start at the beginning of the thing, at the idea stage, whereas a lot of the programs you see here locally, they start after you're up, and that's not very efficient unless you have, if you don't have a lot of money, you can't recover from your mistakes. And the lean startup system, it actually helps you make mistakes faster before you spend a lot of money. You don't actually start building anything until you got customer buy-in.
There was a need for small businesses to bring brand awareness to their business. I see there's a lot of makers and bakers that they're making all of these goodies and these products, but they can't market it, they can't sell it at the same time, and there needs to be kind of like that middleman, that middle person to help bring economic growth to some of the small businesses in Pensacola. So Taste of Pensacola, I came up with that idea during the pandemic when I saw things at that time that Amazon couldn't fulfill. They didn't even have those products, but the local people in the community, they did. And so there was a ton of people coming out saying, hey, I make masks. I'm like, wow, this is amazing, all the local people here that are just as talented that can actually make those products. And so I wanted to kind of showcase who they were. So with Taste of Pensacola, our income streams, we have several of them. We have the corporate America, we do corporate gifting, just regular consumers, different Pensacola natives that don't live here that want to purchase our boxes, like a taste of weddings, distribution. So we also do bulk sales. So for a private airline, if they want some local snacks and goodies on their passenger flights, they will come to Taste of Pensacola and we will source their vendors here locally, and we'll give a small business owner an opportunity to have reoccurring monthly sales. I've always had a really big vision for Taste of Pensacola. I knew that it could go beyond just local. I know that maybe other communities could possibly use the same platform that I'm trying to build. And I always have these big visions, but I never know how to even get there. Where do I start? I know it's more than, there's a lot of technical things behind it. I know there's a lot of research, but that connection, I never had it until, thankfully, I met and was introduced to Startups on the Blocks and was able to just learn more about how to grow it in terms of data. Things I just never thought about, framework, words like traction. There's a lot of things that I just did not know about in language that I need to know in order to get funding for my business. There's just a lot that I didn't know.
I would go to the stores and look online. They didn't have a wide variety of natural hair products about 8 years ago. And the ones that they did have, the ingredients, it would say that they were all natural. And when I would research the ingredients, a lot of the ingredients were not natural. I make everything, my shampoo, conditioner, I have an oil that I make, and I have 2 different separate butters. Like I had some people who were completely bald and grew their hair. It's about giving women their confidence back in their hair. I have this salon and then I have a second salon, and I have my products in about 5 beauty supply stores. So I need a manufacturer to keep up with the demand at this point. Startup on the Blocks has helped my business grow. Send me to different people. I'm able to do different pitch competitions to apply for grants in the community for small businesses. Lloyd's a really good person to connect with. He has a lot of resources here in the community that can help small businesses grow. If you have a product out there and you're trying to go big time, he's the person that you would want to meet with.
So it's really important to have some type of support because 9 times out of 10, most founders start out on their own. And to have somebody that has an idea of how the ecosystem works and is able to tap into other resources and bring back to the community, and that pretty much has encountered some of the roadblocks or going through the same roadblocks that we're currently going through and understands where you're at, your culture and how you respond to things, is a big help because you don't really have too many people that have access to what we have access to here in the community. And a lot of people believe that you have to leave and go to bigger cities to do the things that we're doing here. But I mean, it's one thing to have exposure, but you have to actually know it's here in the community in order to take advantage of the resources. So I get approached and I talk to friends all the time that wants to either start an idea or hear that I'm actually doing the app and wants to know more information about how are you doing it or what's the process, what's the path. I'm like, man, we have somebody here, Startup on the Blocks, Lloyd Richard, and Lloyd is here. He's a great resource to the community and to founders that's trying to learn the ecosystem. So join Startup on the Blocks.
Hello, Vince. How are you?
Doing good. How about you, Lloyd?
Great. Welcome back to Startup on the Blocks best practices. And so we're trying to help founders all over learn the best practices for building a startup. And glad to have you back to share an update on your startup. And I guess the main reason you've been using the lean startup methodology and definitely want people to understand the value of following that. Yeah, awesome. First we'll take some time to give thanks to our sponsors, and I guess Vince, you and I met through the partnership we have with the Black in Technology Foundation.
Yep.
And so that how would you describe that journey last year with working with all the startups?
Yeah, no, I think the journey has been phenomenal. I remember, what was it, like last February? I met it with like you and Carmen, and then we got like the initial Lean Stack level 1 training. First cohort, super nervous, but it went pretty awesomely, to be honest. And then from there, we were able to start integrating more AI, more modern tools like Canva. We've seen the presentations get better and better with each cohort. Founders taking and retaining more of the information as we've been optimizing the overarching training. And then, the 90-day cohorts have also been improving, and love seeing the founders start to do the interviews.
Right, fantastic. So we definitely love that partnership with the Blacks in Technology Foundation and Florida Power and Light. They're sponsoring cohorts in Florida, with the Black founders in Florida. So that's pretty fantastic as well. And so we're just getting a 90-day cohort kicked off and so what do you think from back last summer, we did the 90-day cohort for BIT. I think the founders this time are in for a big treat for all the stuff we've actually learned to help them move forward a little faster.
Oh yeah, and definitely alongside the updates to the overarching curriculum, like the V8 updates, I think, and with the platform, seeing how just the easy to use navigation has streamlined how people can actually access the content. Yeah, I definitely think the founders should be excited for just what they'll be able to experience as they get further into the 90-day cohort.
Gotcha. Yeah, and so other partners and sponsors, we have access to the Startup Science platform, and I keep getting email updates on that. They keep updating it, and so Vince, when you go back in there, the next time you're going to see it's a whole new platform.
Oh, I got the one like this morning about the UI updates. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. And so we appreciate the banks as well, and we're going to try to leverage them really heavy this year. The First Bank, Renaissance Bank, and some other banks. And we have a strong partnership with Innisfree Hotels. They sponsor a lot of our pitch competitions early on. So we really just appreciate that. And we partner with the chambers as well. And so it takes a whole body of folks and sponsors to make all this stuff happen. Yeah, so that's we're excited to have that support. Yeah, and so I want you give folks a little 1 to 2 minute introduction about your company, and so they can kind of get a feel for what you're up to.
Oh yeah, so DVNC was started back in 2018, back when I had dreads. And as a whole, it started off as a game studio, and we wanted to hit the market in order to improve representation in the media that people play and watch. So as we got to 2020, we were able to take on 5 figures of investment. That was off of client work. And then from there, we were able to partner with Microsoft's Idea Xbox. We had a successful 5-figure Kickstarter. The following year, we were able to take in 6 figures of investment. And then as we sought VC capital, that was when the pandemic ended, and games funding actually started crashing as the investors wanted to invest in things that were outside of, let's say, people's boxes / apartments. So what happened there was we decided to go from being funding driven to being more revenue driven. That was at the same time when we discovered the overarching lean stack process through the book Running Lean. So from there, we started doing like the lean stack level 1 overarching activities, like the lean canvas, the traction roadmap, and then also the story pitch. And then we were able to start aligning to the market. So that was probably like late 2022. And then after the early 2023, it was kind of like, okay, we couldn't tell if we were like an education company or a marketing company. We decided to go marketing first, but realized we would have had to educate the overarching clients and customers. So we decided to switch to being an education company as we got into like summer. That was really when traction started seeing like way better rises. And also our contracts started going from like 4-figure contracts to 5-figure contracts. Then at the end of last year, we were able to get one of our clients a $650,000 grant in order to spin up a metaverse lab. At the start of last year, we actually got one of our clients a $100,000 grant in order to run a 12-week program centered around AI and gamification. And then that program was super successful during the year. And now as we get into 2024, we're focused on getting that metaverse lab going, continuing that 12-week program, making it more into a weekly program, and also taking on new clients focused around spinning up educational programs centered around diverse communities and helping early stage educational organizations get the initial traction that they need so that they can run sustainable education programs.
Yes, yeah, that sounds like a lot of progress, and yeah, I can't remember how long ago you were on, but you definitely have made a lot of progress since then, and we want to dive a little deeper, into that if we can tonight. First, I'm going to go through a couple of slides here. So next week we're having Basha on, and she's going to be telling us about the Synapse Conference, Synapse Florida, coming up, and we have discount coupons for that, and also discount funds for booths and stuff. So it's a pretty neat one-day conference to go to. It's going to be, I believe, the 28th of this month. Then, so that's a kind of a big thing here in Florida. Yeah. So that should be pretty interesting. Yeah. So I think you've seen this chart before, Vince, and we probably couldn't have did it without you. But that was a lot of cohorts and a lot of mentoring and a lot of stuff last year. Yeah. So that's right. So so I think that was a pretty aggressive, even from a coach's standpoint, when you say from all the time you had to put in.
Oh yeah, I definitely think, especially with like the mentoring aspect to it, I think there's one thing that I definitely learned. It's like once you get to like a certain point in mentoring, it's almost better to start implementing tutorials so that then people have a slight like do-it-yourself component, so that then the mentoring can have like more exponential outcomes.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I see Tony has a question about the Synapse thing. Yeah, I'll put a link in the chat for the newsletter we sent out. So you can get those discount coupons as well, Tony. I'll make sure I do that before we get off here tonight. Yes. Yeah. So we got a comment here from Michaela. He's been in the big cohorts, and he's saying good morning. He's over in Africa, so that's kind of cute Good morning, Mikhail. Yeah, so glad to have you listening. But do you think it was worth it? Us putting in all that effort last year to kind of
I
work it out?
to be honest, undoubtedly, I gotta admit, for my own company, right, I was going back and getting some testimonials from people who I mentored, and
Yeah,
some of the testimonials almost brought tears to my eyes. To be honest, people just talking about the
yeah.
transformation that they were able to experience from the accelerator cohorts.
Yes, yes, yeah, and one of the gentlemen from Africa, he sent me a note, because he was participated in one of the demo days, and he said that was the best experience of his life. Yeah, so that
Amazing.
yeah, that was pretty good. But I think the deal is that there we're literally just trying to fill the knowledge gap so people understand the whole process and what they need to do to kind of reduce their risk and increase their chance of success, and so that's what the idea is all about. So I'll ask you this question, and you'll, and just sort of for the audience of people that are out there listening. So did the founders have to pay anything to get all this help?
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah, yeah. And I think a lot of people, they'll hesitate to participate or come and get involved because they think there's a cost, involved. The cost is their time and working on their business idea, to kind of move forward. That's what the cost is for you to. It's just the time it takes for you to learn, and so to take advantage of some of the resources that are out there, in the ecosystem. So so this year we have already started a 90-day program, and we're doing these best practice events, and so one of the things, Vince, I'm looking into is doing a community thing where we got all these cohorts that we trained, but we don't have a good way to communicate to all of them at one time. So I think if we implement some type of community, I think that would be a good deal where all the information is right there, so they don't have to go running all over the place, to kind of find it.
Oh yeah, always love community-based learning, especially with like peer-to-peer help. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So that's kind of, and I'm not sure if I told you about this Black Founder Innovation Summit we got coming up.
No.
Yeah, so that idea there is it's just so from your standpoint and your startup, would you say you've actually been able to do some innovation within your startup?
I would say we started off doing too much innovation, and
Okay.
then it just didn't have the market resonance. So like what we decided to do was like make video games that kind of went against the grain. But what we learned was that, okay, if they go too far against the grain, people won't actually relate to them. So there's a level where you have to make sure to relate things back. So we weren't able to actually start growing the audience for that video game until we
Yeah.
said, this video game is just like these old and new video games that people have already played. That's when people were like, oh, that's why we actually want to play this game. So then as we found more market resonance, because like that game, it's worth like $20 per unit, but our
Okay.
current offering is worth $5,000 per unit. So as we found more market resonance, what we actually decided to do was pull back on uniqueness at first so that then we could understand what people actually wanted and be able to communicate it more directly to them. And then what we started doing was, in order to implement innovation, find the super boring parts of the business that could use the innovation so that we could get ahead of competitors. So as one example, doing curriculum development with AI versus just handwriting it.
Yes, yeah, that's a good example to go on. And so so that's kind of what my motivation for this Black Innovations Summit, Black Founder Innovation Summit. So one of the things that I came across, so like when we have the traction roadmap, and you put the 10x growth rate in there. And so one of the questions I started asking founders, can you grow at a 10x rate without doing some type of innovation? And so it would be pretty challenging to do that without, creating some type of innovation.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I definitely think there's different parts to innovate in. Like, you have the product innovations, but then you also have like the market and marketing innovations, how you're actually going to get the word out in unique ways that don't cost a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah. So like if you were going to an innovation summit, what would you be looking for?
Um, So one thing that I've been focusing in on is like how to bring a company to $1 million, because my company's
Okay.
been kind of stuck at around like $100,000 to $150,000 per year.
Yeah,
So one of the things that like I've been paying for like a bunch of classes from people who have like agency type models, kind of like my startup, where
yeah.
they are making at least $1 million, and it's essentially just sales. That's what everybody's talking about. Like the more you inject sales in, the more feedback that you overarching get for your product in your pipeline. So by doing the sales, you're actually getting the data that you need in order to improve your overarching processes. So one thing that
Fantastic.
so one thing that I would love to hear more about would be like how sales honestly leads to innovation due to the level of communication and delivery that's needed once somebody signs an agreement.
Fantastic. So like as you deal with customers and get sales, you're actually collecting data. So how can you leverage that data, to kind of innovate,
Exactly.
yeah. So yeah, to me, that's the beautiful thing about creating a new product or service and bringing on those customers, because you're generating data, and data that's actually becomes IP, and you can use that data to improve your product. You can use that data to create a new product, and so that's the beauty of having your own platform and building something new, and
Exactly.
getting access to that data. So yeah, so I have to keep thinking about some other things that can kind of help people develop some insight on innovation there.
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah. All righty. So I'm going to go just see what else I have on here. Yeah. So from our experience, Vince, I guess we've been running into founders at different stages. Some folks are already up with sales, some are just idea, but what from the lean startup stuff. So how do you feel about people? We've been having to try to work with people at all different phases and trying to get them to follow the lean startup methodology. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I think that it's pretty interesting, right? Because I would definitely say, like, just looking at the chart, most people that we deal with, they're either at like -2 or they're at 1. The people who
yeah,
are at
most of them.
-2, yeah, I feel like they're super interested in just hopping in because they're like, okay, I have this idea. How do I actually design it out? So, like, perfect, right, for that lean stack level 1, getting their idea on the lean canvas and then fleshing
Yes,
it out more with like the traction roadmap, the rollout plan, and the pitch. But I
yeah,
do feel like when people are at 1, and they don't realize that, so to speak, they're kind of stuck because they haven't done the actual business modeling, it can be sometimes hard to take a step back and truly go back to do the business modeling, because sometimes people feel like they might have like a sunk cost fallacy where they've invested invested some time into some things. They're like, oh, now I have to only do it this way. So one of the things that I've been trying to do as a mentor is like, if somebody is at 1 but they haven't done any of the base business modeling, really getting them to be like, okay, like, yes, you might have some sunk costs already, but really try to think outside the box while you have the time to do that. Because
yeah,
once you really start getting into the lean stack, you really start focusing on the data more than anything else. So
yeah.
enjoy the early days where you have more of that like brainstorming capacity, and realize you can't always pump the brakes a bit in order to do it again. But you do, once you get momentum, you want to try to keep that momentum up.
Yeah, and I agree with you. You can, if you're at the stage 1 on this chart, you can baseline what you have, and because it's just a model. You have a price, you have price, and you can do the traction roadmap and see how things are going. But what I love about the traction roadmap, type stuff is that it gives you a plan to that you can follow to get that 10x growth rate. It's telling you exactly what you have to do.
Oh yeah, and then when you combine it with like AIs to connect the lean canvas and the traction roadmap to like macro trends in the
Yeah,
actual market, I think that makes it super easy to communicate how it's going to be sustainable over like the next 1 to 3 years.
Yeah, and I did want to mention Mikhail. He's over in Africa, and so he always likes to remind me of that, because it's maybe 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning over there where he is, and so we want to commend him, for for being persistent to wanna learn, and so I think from my standpoint, I think from what we're doing with the Blacks in Technology, the only thing I can think of that might help the folks over there in those different time zones like that is maybe doing like a Saturday morning session or something like that for for workshops. And I definitely will keep my mind open to that for supporting the founders, over in Europe and in Africa.
Awesome.
Yeah. And so what's Tony saying here? Innovation will always mean educating the customer. So yeah, we may have to dive a little deeper on that, but so this is the kind of one of the ways I kind of look at that, Tony, is yeah, when you're having conversation with a customer or having conversation with a co-founder and you have a problem, and then you start trying to figure out how to solve that problem, you come up with new ideas, and that could turn into some innovations or new things to try. But I think Ash is what he always says when he talks about competitive advantages between companies. He says the competitive advantage is your ability to learn who can learn the fastest, from the data they're getting and interaction with their customers, but yeah, to me, Black founders, any founders, if you put your heads together to work on a problem to figure out a solution, all that brain power going to make something happen. Yeah, for sure. And let's see, I think so this is that lean stack traction roadmap, and yeah, I just love the way Ash has it laid out. And so you got your business model and tested, and you know how to pitch it, and now we're going into the demand validation. So Vince, you kind of would you take a minute or two and kind of explain to the audience what that's all about?
Yeah, totally. So the foundations are just the initial readings that Ash has available in order to be like a primer or warm up before you go into the business model design. Inside the business model design, you actually get your idea outside your head, put it on paper by doing a 1-page business plan called a lean canvas. Then you do 1-page 3-year projections for both revenue and also the audience needed in order to get that revenue through what's called the traction roadmap and also the customer factory. Once you have that, you need to do a now, next, later rollout plan just to understand how you're going to align to the statistics on the traction roadmap. And then from there, you summarize all of that into 2 forms of pitches: an elevator pitch, a less than 60-second pitch in order to hook people, and then a more story-based visual pitch with like an actual presentation attached to it. That's probably about 3 to 5 minutes in order to get people really embedded into the idea and really want to like back the startup, whether that's through investment, advisorship, customers, or more. And then from there, we have the problem solution fit section, which is part of the business model validation. So in order to validate, you have to, generally speaking, check the overarching demand. So to do that, you're going to discover your potential users / customers' problems by doing interviews, 10 broad match interviews. After that, you summarize the job to be done so that then you can do 10 narrow match interviews. From those 20 total interviews, you'll be able to take the data, summarize it into what's called a 5P product design matrix. Then you'll take those statistics and transition them into what's called a mafia offer, an offer so good that people can't refuse it, so that then you can go to the people who you interviewed initially in order to hopefully bring in first traction, first sales, first money. And then once you have brought in first money, you'll start transitioning into the blue, where you need to understand how to make repeatable, happy customers so that you can deliver consistent value to them. And then once you understand how to do that, from really just growing your overarching customer audience and marketing audience, Then you transition into the pink, which is business model growth, where it's really about finding that main growth channel so that then you can really refine that. And then as you get into the red, you'll scale into more growth channels so that you can scale overarching revenue.
Great. And we're I guess we're going to hopefully be getting some coach training for that value delivery thing coming up in April. So we'll, as our startup founders grow, they can and get through the 90-day, then we can coach them through that value delivery phase there. But I guess here's the link to the where you can get the coupons for Synapse in the email. There's several coupons in there, so make sure you all take a close look at those. Yeah, so that's good. So the good news is for our founders, with this lean stack roadmap, and it's really neat having access to that kind of material and to help close the knowledge gap for founders to kind of move forward.
Oh, yeah, I'll honestly say, like, before I found the lean stack, I just didn't know where I was right on the timeline. You read so many articles online, but they don't have really full frameworks. So you're kind of taking a guess from like different people's opinions. But one thing that Ash did was really lay out a very specific timeline with specific milestones and deliverables that you can make so that you can really understand how you align to the timeline and double check if you're not in like a certain spot, how you can get there.
That's exactly right. And I think for all the startup stuff out there, I think the biggest challenge, one of the biggest challenges, is knowing where you are on this timeline, and then knowing what the next step is. It's just like, I get this done. So what's the milestone I need to reach? And so I really like the milestones that Ash has laid out in a way that makes sense.
Oh yeah, definitely. I love also how, like, as you go across the different levels, it just gets like a little looser too, so that then you're like customizing it for your specific business.
Yes. Yeah, that's good. And I was talking to a lady today, trying to help her understand what the ecosystem is all about, and yeah, it's a challenging thing to understand. But one of the data points is when you look at the beginning of the real light pink, that product market fit area in the darker pink, the 80% of the founders, from the statistics that Ash is saying, that 80% of the founders never make it to that product market fit. They actually run out of money. And so that's why we stress so hard to follow the lean startup methodology, so you have a better chance, to making it to that product market fit.
Oh yeah, I definitely think the Mafia offer, the end of the orange, is really the turning point. Once you have a Mafia offer, it just feels so good to be talking to potential customers, because then they feel really happy to have you around, because then they're just like, whoa, this is exactly what I need.
Yeah, and so at the end of that, that orange, you have repeatable sales, and I think that's the key thing. And until you can predict those repeatable sales, you're not going to be able to kind of scale like this curve is suggesting. And so
exactly,
yeah, and this curve is a 10x curve, but the beautiful part of it is, in the early things, you dealing with a small amount of customers, so you can learn before you start getting overwhelmed by customers. Yes. Yeah. So this is just another kind of taking a look at it from the startup science perspective. But Vince, I tell you, we haven't ran any cohorts with this training, and I really think we need to figure out something, to kind of take, some of the founders through this training, because it gets into the nitty gritty of all the terms you need to understand. How do you fill out the accelerator applications? how do you communicate to investors? Yeah, just a whole lot of stuff. But it's there for the founders to take and get access to, so they can actually learn.
Yeah, I think this would be perfect for like right after the 90-day cohort, if people just want to like continue learning, just like looking at what it's actually talking about. Because it's like right after the 90-day, right, your vision is pretty cemented theoretically based on the interviews and doing the Mafia offer. So then you can really like turn it into the product, right? MVP, minimum viable product. And then you do need a go-to-market strategy so that you can get those repeatable sales from the value delivery. And then from there, like I think a lot of founders could use help with the standardization and optimization, because you can't really grow without having standards and optimized systems.
That's exactly right. And so at that product market fit stage, you really supposedly have got all the kinks out of everything.
Yep.
So you can, how much money you need to spend to get X number of customers. And so when you get to that point, and you understand that, that's a big accomplishment. Yeah. And so the biggest point I would emphasize on all this, and I'll get rid of the charts after this thing. So what I found through my journey as a founder, and that there are a lot of opportunities out there in the ecosystem for founders, and so to help you from one stage, one milestone to the next milestone. But the challenge is if you don't know how to communicate to that ecosystem out there in that wider band on this chart, then you're going to have trouble, being able to take advantage of some of those things. And so that's why you get that founder's mindset. We tried to, with the lean startup stuff, we try to help you learn some of the skills and best practices. And then it's just, that's the thing that's keeping you from accessing a lot of the opportunities out there.
Oh, yeah. I think a lot of people, sometimes they come in like with a fixed mindset, right? And that was one of the first things one of my mentors taught me, was like the difference between a fixed and a growth mindset. Definitely when you go to be an entrepreneur, you have to be a lot more flexible, because like at the end of the day, you're probably going to touch everything inside your business at least once, so that then you can explain it to someone else.
Yeah. So can you see yourself getting to the point where you know how much it's going to cost you to acquire a customer, and how the lifetime value of that customer? But I was just trying to see, because I think you're starting to get close, to that product market fit. So can you see the light at the end of the tunnel?
Yeah. So according to our traction roadmap, we're already at product market fit. The main thing that we have to do now is just keep onboarding new clients. But like last month, we successfully onboarded 3 new clients. I've already onboarded 2 new clients for this month. So we are at product market fit, because like when we go out to communicate our product, we're able to bring in new clients. The main thing for us right now, so like one, I know how much it costs for us to find a client, because I made it pretty easy for myself. We use an ambassador strategy. So it's 25% sales commission. So that's how much it costs in general. And then we don't pay the ambassadors on like an hourly basis, because that commission is like over $1,000 because of our price point. So the overarching ambassadors go out, they bring the clients over to us, and then it's just a matter of like doing a few of the meetings in order to hit that conversion rate and get a new client. So for us, we have hit the rate of onboarding new clients at the actual price point that we need to for the traction roadmap. And we have our Mafia offer. So we, over like the last 2 months, transitioned from the blue into the pink, and our growth rocket is our ambassadors. So now as we look to transition more into the red, we're going to be creating more content, and we're planning to use LinkedIn first, because in the past, that's been really strong for us.
Oh, great. Fantastic. And so tell me a little bit about this ambassador thing, because I don't think I've heard you actually use that term before.
Yeah, totally. So essentially just classic affiliate marketing. So somebody can sign up as an ambassador, and then they're allowed to like market our services. Our base package starts at $5,000, and then they get 25%. So that'd be $1,250.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, all right. So so what led you to that strategy?
So last year we actually got all of our clients from like informal ambassadors, so like affiliate marketing. So people just kind of referred people to us, right? And we were like, oh, okay, so we're getting a lot of referrals, and that's the main way we get actual new clients. So why not just formalize the overarching process for getting referrals? So funny enough, Ash mentions pirate metrics, which are AARRR or R.
Yeah.
At my company, we changed it to dinosaur metrics. We took the last R, put it in the front, so it's RAR, like a dinosaur, because we focus on referrals first.
Gotcha. So like these. So I'm trying to think. So I understand what you said, and so how does that relate, to what we're trying to teach the founders? When you look at the Lean Canvas and you look at all the 90-day training. So is that a marketing or go-to-market strategy? Which one is it?
Yeah, that's a good market strategy. So I would say, like, for us, like the way I like to think about it, there's definitely different strategies for like B2C versus B2B founders. If you're like B2C, you're going to be hardcore running your customer factory just because of the price point and trying to keep the money in the table, right? But essentially, when you run B2B, if you get like one client, there's a lot of money on the table. Yes. So what I find is like with B2B startups, it's more about honestly providing the value and the delivery and fulfillment after the sell, so that then you actually have like lifetime value. So like last year we hit lifetime values of like 15,000 plus with our clients. One of our clients, it was like $50,000. So essentially we understand that we have really good LTV relative to like what we needed for our traction roadmap. So now what our focus is like you said, a go-to-market strategy. So we're doing kind of like a stealth go-to-market through the ambassador/affiliate marketing. And then while we understand how to communicate the offer and also how to deliver the consistent value so that we can overarchingly scale, what we're going to do then is actually launch the LinkedIn marketing so that then we can go into the red. Funny enough, the blue for us was actually only like 2 or 3 clients because of our price point. And then the pink for us is actually hitting like 2 to 3 new clients per month. And then as we hit 30 clients, that's when we'll transition from the pink into the red. Right now we're at 6. At the end of last year, we had like 2. And now again, February, we're at 6. So we're starting to hit that rate of new clients. And now also the main thing I'm doing with the team is make sure to standardize and optimize our processes so that like even the intern can deliver the value for our clients.
Yeah. So when did you get to the point where your Mafia offer was working? What was that experience like learning, to create that Mafia offer to get those repeatable sales?
So I'm not gonna lie, I totally skipped over the Mafia offer, but that was because like I'm really good at sales, so I was able to just do kind of like direct sales. So it did take a few more meetings, but we were able to get the clients, right? So then we were able to just focus on providing value. But then what happened was, as we wanted to overarchingly just establish the brand so that we could scale the clients, we understood that we needed a more concise offering. So then what happened was we had realized that we had made like over $50,000 from literally just making classes. So like in fall, I was like, okay, our unit of like income is essentially how many classes that we sell. But then what we started realizing as we started talking to people who weren't clients was that there's a honest problem with early stage educational organizations, especially for diverse communities, and then be able to get the funding that they need in order to run the educational programs. So it's like, we're going to people where you're like, we can make you classes, but they were like, oh, we love that. We absolutely want that, but we don't have any money. So they were like, okay. So we decided that was the problem that we should actually focus on, because it's like, how can we sell the classes if they don't have the money? And so many people were saying that they didn't have the money that we were like, oh, that's a market problem. So we were like, okay, let's actually switch our offering from classes in order to help do fundraising and getting traction for early stage educational organizations. Because even to them, like $10,000 to $30,000 can be super transformative, so that then they can get that ground level traction going with the learners, start getting the learning reports, so that then they can apply for bigger, better funding.
Okay, gotcha. So you literally, by interacting with trying to make some sales, you learn what it took to actually get the sales.
Exactly. So for us, we didn't even try like the Mafia offer because it's not like we crafted a specific offer that we thought was like super premium. We were just like, okay, we can make classes. Here's how much classes cost. And then we were understanding like pricing sensitivity. But then what we found out was just like the money for new programs wasn't there unless the educational organization was at a certain capacity. And that wasn't really like early stage. They usually been around for honestly closer to 10 years. So we were like, okay, well, there's a lot of people trying to start educational organizations because of how much the U.S. education system is broken, and e-learning is set to be a super huge industry by 2030. So overarchingly, more people are entering into private education. So we wanted to make sure that we're there to help those people really hit the ground running.
Yeah. Okay, good. So like, I think, some of the audience, if you got any questions, please ask. And so what I want you to do next, Vince, is to kind of, for like the Kaku Institute and our Black Founder Program. So how would you just explain to people how we would work with you as a client of yours, so people can understand your process for onboarding new clients?
Got it. So basically, we have two agreements. One's not the Mafia offer, one is the Mafia offer. So the base agreement is for $5,000, we help you raise $15,000. So that's not the Mafia offer, but it's a pretty good offer to begin with. Then the Mafia offer is that it's performance-based. So you don't have to pay the $5K up front. And instead, for every $2 that's made, we take $1, you get $1, and we only take our dollar up until we make the $5K. So then your organization overarchingly makes $10,000 in profit, but then you also have the funding systems and marketing systems in place so that somebody on your team could keep running those systems in order to bring in more money. And that first offer is for audience-based funding, so that then you can do essentially what's called crowdfunding. For nonprofits, that would be more donations. And then for for-profits, that'd be something like a Kickstarter or like pre-ordering a product so that then they're able to like get funding to make the product and then deliver it to the people.
Okay, gotcha. So kind of just, so let's say, once the organization is onboarded, or the startup is onboarded, or the nonprofit is onboarded, so what's kind of like the first step that you would do to kind of get this ball rolling?
Awesome. So it's honestly, not going to lie, the Lean Stack Level 1 materials, because so many organizations haven't done Lean Stack Level 1. They don't have like their educational model or their business model organized. So that is the first step we do. So basically, like after people sign the agreement, within a week, they have a meeting with me. I ask them our intake questions, type those up, get an AI to parse through them so that's nice to summarize for the team. The team goes back, works on the overarching Lean Canvas, traction roadmap, now next later rollout plan, elevator pitches, and the story visual pitch using AI plus like Canva. We send those over to the client on a consistent basis so that they can help with the overarching direction and strategy that they want to pursue. Once we have that visual pitch, we transition over into setting them up with a payment processor so that they can start taking in donations, or if they're for-profits, start taking in actual money. And then from there, we set up a marketing campaign, up to 3 marketing campaigns. And then we do a web page plus like the actual messaging and identifying potential people to give money or who would buy the overarching product, so that then we can start doing the actual marketing, sales, and start seeing the success needed in order to complete the contract.
Gotcha. So like in our case, what I'm interested in is funding our Black Founder Program, and so so like we can continue to take founders through this Lean Startup, Lean Stack platform to kind of move forward.
Yeah, so if we work together, it would be like 3 potential campaigns. Could be like, one would be, okay, every time we get enough money, we could run like a cohort that's paid through donations. Another person might be able to like gift over like a Lean Canvas review or like a traction roadmap review. And then also we could take a lot of the content, such as this content, move it over to a YouTube channel, and then start marketing that and then drawing in donations from viewers.
Gotcha. Yeah, so like I tend to like products and base type things. So one of the products, so I like to create products, and so one of one of the products, could be like, producing market reports for the founders. One of the things we could do is to leverage some of the AI stuff to kind of evaluate the founder's idea. And I don't know if you heard, we partnered with Pitch Bob, which is
I saw that in the email. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, you need to check that out. That's pretty amazing, Vince, I'm telling you. And so the deal is we create products related to some of these things to help founders out and get sponsors to pay for these things all over the country, all over the world. And so then the other thing I figured out, what's the limit that we have with the Lean Stack and the business model design training. The coaches are actually the thing that limits what your capacity to do, mm-hmm. right? Yeah. So if we could leverage some of the AI stuff, to allow the coaches to actually work with more founders, I think that's going to help us reach more founders.
Oh yeah, like custom GPTs and Chat GPT assistants are really good for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and so that's kind of what I'm thinking, because what we learn is that it's hard for a person to kind of absorb all this stuff even in 30 days. It's like really a challenge. So my thing is, if we can get sponsors or whoever to pay for founders to get access to all of this stuff, I think it would be neat. Also, one of the products I think we can go with is like the half a day, 3-hour boot camp where we leverage all these AI tools and yep. get the founders to kind of go. But I think so that and we also can do it location based for the stuff we do virtual, because we got founders all over the world, and then so we can solicit founders to sign up for these things and then get the sponsors to pay for it.
Oh yeah, that would be phenomenal.
Yeah. So it's just trying to figure out ways and strategies to kind of move forward. So I'm definitely looking forward to working with you on that to get that ball rolling.
Awesome.
So folks in the audience, if you got any questions, and Vince, you're saying you can actually do the same thing for startup founders, right?
Yeah. So like as an example, Abraham Scully.
Yeah,
he signed up. So we're going to help him align his overarching like mental health speaking startup from like a business modeling standpoint. Because you think about it, it's very educational. So we're going to help him refine his product offering and also figure out how he can scale over time.
Yeah, and I think he's a perfect candidate for because it's like that, it's hard for folks to actually see stuff and understand stuff to kind of move forward, and so he actually didn't he signed up for the 90-day, but I don't know, I'm not sure.
He's pretty unique, not gonna lie, in that he's past the 90-day in my mind, because if you look at his website, Speaks to Inspire, it's like so on point with the messaging. I just think for him, he probably honestly needs to go through like the startup science materials, because it's more about like the go-to-market strategy and standardization and optimization, so you can start getting the repeatable sales. Like for us, once we actually started writing down our customer factory, we're able to find like the weak points in the factory so that we could smoothly transition people between the different states. Initially, it was just like, okay, how we find leads. Then it was like, okay, how we qualify leads. Leads are like potential customers. Then it was like, how we know they're actually qualified. We talk to them, ask them certain questions about their background and what they're doing to make sure they align to the offering. And then from there, we came up with the base Mafia offer. But to be honest, that didn't work out initially. So now we're on like version 1.3 of that offer. And that was the one where it really started resonating to the point where people, so to speak, stopped complaining and just started being like, oh, if you just tweak this, I think I'll sign.
Okay, that's fantastic. I'm really happy to hear that because they're yeah, because like in general, it's hard. It's all this learning all this new stuff, and doing that mind shift it's just challenging all the way around.
Oh yeah, I think the biggest mindset shift for me, I was thinking about this the other day because it was like January. I was like, okay,
Yeah,
2 years ago, I was selling like $20 per unit that video game. Then last year, after like so in 2022, we found the lean stack. And that's when we started doing the initial like business modeling. And again, I
yeah.
said we were like choosing between education and marketing. Like last January, we got 2 clients for $250 a month. So that was just
Hmm.
like $500 a month in like new revenue. But we were super excited about that because that was like 10 times the overarching video game that we had. So very
Yeah.
happy there. But then this past January, we were able to get $45,000 in signed contract value. So it's like
Hmm.
once you actually go through the process and you start shifting your mindset towards understanding how to align to your traction roadmap, you can start really seeing that success. It's a little bit less like just listen to the logistics of the roadmap and then try to understand how to actually reflect that in the real market.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's real. But like I said, the way is there. You just have to work hard to find the knowledge and the tools and the guidance to keep moving forward.
Oh yeah, and with the lean stack, it is a little bit of like blind trust, but the process super really does work. And it's like as you work the process, you start understanding more about how it actually works. So I think of the lean stack as a little bit more like Play-Doh. If you just look at it, it's pretty cool in color. But once you have to start playing around with it, you understand how you can actually make things.
Yeah, and so what I want you to communicate, that you actually, read the Scaling Lean book and you
Okay, I won't
actually.
lie. I didn't read Scaling Lean, but I read Running Lean.
Yeah, running lean. But I tell you, if I listened to Scaling Lean twice in the past couple of weeks or so, and when you hear the stuff that's in the training material, and it's really reinforces you, and you hear and learn new stuff. Um, but but so when you see what was in running lean, and you look at the training material that we're doing in the lean stack, so is it reinforcing some of the stuff that's in running lean?
Oh yeah, I would say I love the training material because it's super direct and practical. And I think like Running Lean is a really good book for helping like glue together the different ideas and topics from the training material. And then
Yeah,
after reading the late season training material, now I really do want to go and read Scaling Lean because I think like
yeah,
my company, we're around like season 4, season 5. There's just like some in season 4, you have to do like a lot of analytics and like dashboard type stuff. So that's what we're setting up in the background.
hmm yeah, yeah, and so it's literally amazing to me and that's the latest version of the training material. It actually has a lot more detail in it, a lot more explanations, and a lot more
Oh yeah.
video. Yeah, and I think it's just a great opportunity, for founders to get the knowledge they need to move forward. And so if all the founders out there, if you're not actually reading and going through that material, you're making a big mistake. You're shooting yourself in the foot, because this the information is there for you to move forward, and it's based on thousands and thousands of founders that Ash has been dealing with over the past over 10 years. Yeah, and he's making that knowledge available to you directly through that material. Yeah,
You're making it available for free.
yeah, yeah, and so like his Ash's Mafia offer to me was what was interesting, because I had some meetings with him, Brissell and I, and so that's when I kind of learned what what his platform was. But so, and I understood the business model design stuff, and he basically said, if you buy 10 licenses for the 90-day, you can have as many 30-day licenses as you want.
Yep.
So the light bulb went on for me, I can share this information with every Black founder out there that wants to learn it. The only limitation is the coaching, but if the person's got the willingness and the eagerness to learn on their own, we can make it available to them for free without, inquiring additional cost.
Oh yeah, totally. I think with like all the recordings that we have too, soon we'll be able to make just some amazing series of content for people to digest, whether like they don't want to read and they just want to like listen or watch something.
Yeah. And so the other thing I share with the founders out there, when I share with some organizations what we're doing to have products and services, they literally like to offer them. Some of them actually offer them to us, for free. And so like, let's see, the Pitch Bob one, and Lloyd Jr., I guess, I don't know if you got the email or not, but the thing with, if you could put the Pitch Bob thing in there with the coupon, that would be great. But this is so crazy, Vince. The guy, the founder of the company, I had a meeting with him, and he's over in Israel, and so I kind of sympathize with him being over there with all that turmoil going on over there. But he literally told me if our community, really like that product, he said he would literally white label that to us so we can actually let founders actually use it on our own brand. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, that would be crazy.
yeah. But the bottom line is that the the founder. So I don't know if you read the thing about the Pitch Bob thing, but the deal is so it's a chat thing that's definitely related, to the startup world, and the company actually went through Y Combinator, so you and got investment through Y Combinator, and I still haven't totally figured out their whole business model, but so their pro version of the Pitch Bob is like $60, I guess, and they gave us a thing to get 50% off, and they also have a referral campaign too to kind of get sales as well. But the deal is this thing asks you 35 questions, and they do it through like a website or WhatsApp or Telegram or a Facebook Messenger. And so they ask you these questions, and then once you get through answering these questions, then that's when you have to, pay or put your and use your coupon or whatever. But anyway, and then it creates you a pitch deck, a business model canvas, it's about 6 or 7 different things. Everything you need.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then even a little business plan thing as well. A one pager for your business, and then so I'm at the point now where now I've got to get the pitch coaching. So I don't know what that's going to be like, but I'm going to go back into my communicator thing and get back going again, and it's going to do the pitch coaching. So I don't know how it's going to do that, but I'm looking forward to seeing.
Oh yeah, that's pretty interesting. I know ChatGPT just added like the voice input stuff to it, so I could totally see it actually helping you refine your pitch.
Yeah, but guess what? They invite you to a startup community that they have, and and this is almost unbelievable. They have how you get the freebies like we do in our thing, like the perks and stuff. They have once you get in that community, they have over 400 some perks, from everything from AWS to all the different cloud services. And
got it. It's like all of the startup perks. Yeah.
So it's like pretty fantastic. And that's still hard for me to believe that you can have a business model that's scalable, that they could get through and get investments through Y Combinator and all these things, and so it's pretty amazing. But they're leveraging AI.
Amazing.
Yeah. All right. So Lloyd Jr., did you I guess he's maybe having trouble looking for it, so that means I need to find it right quick. So Vince, if you take a few minutes and kind of share any last minute thoughts, and I'll find that pitch Bob thing so people can actually take advantage of it.
Yeah, totally. So as well, I would say, again, the lean stat process is phenomenal. Love that Lloyd is able to share it with people for free. So definitely take advantage of the 30-day materials if you can. They are literally life-changing and also company saving. Personally, saved my company right after we weren't able to get that venture capital money, and we had to transition again from being funding driven to being more revenue driven. You'll learn things about how to align your business model to the market that honestly it's really hard to find in other places. And a lot of other different like frameworks and brands, they kind of glamorize what it is to be like a startup founder. But I love how Ash and the Lean Stack really keeps it super ground level. So like Lloyd mentioned, you always kind of know the next step and you know where you're at and how to progress so that then you can find the traction that you need, talk to the people you need to talk to, so that then you can build the company that you're really envisioning. And I would say the most important thing in my mind is after you do the business model design, it's really about consistently running the customer factory. Ash mentions it in the training materials, but essentially just go over it. The customer factory is how you actually get your customers, taking them from like visitors or just aware about your brand and transitioning them to actually paid customers. And Ash mentions in the training that if you slow down or stop your customer factory, it's really expensive and time consuming to get it back up. And that is something that happened to my company a few times. So now that we have our new customer factory spun up, we're going to make sure to keep it running because that's really how you build the momentum that you need in order to reach that product market fit.
Fantastic. That's some good insights there. So I'll surprise the audience then that that we didn't get more questions with all the knowledge, but we spin the video this thing out on LinkedIn, YouTube. So there'll definitely be a lot of people that will benefit from this engagement.
Awesome. I'm just assuming everybody was busy taking notes.
Okay, no problem. All right, well, I sure appreciate you coming on and all the insights that you're sharing, your story of your company, and how you leverage the Lean Stack and Lean Startup methodology to kind of move forward, and so really appreciate that. And so we'll see everybody out there next week. Basha will be on, and we'll get ready and get psyched up for the Synapse conference down in Florida. But there's tons of things going on all over. There's tons of opportunities. So keep your eyes and ears open. So Vince, we'll chat with you soon.
Sounds good. Thank you for having me.
All right. Take care, man. We'll see you later.